Welcome to the Connected Living channel, where the focus is on how everything is connected. I'm Chad Wright. It's been a while since I've made a video, but given all that's happening in the world right now, I felt inspired to share some things with you. I have a lot of things I want to share today actually, and because of that I'm going to refer to my phone at times because I want to make sure that I say everything that I want to say. Also, there are times when I speak in certain events, about certain topics, sometimes I get more contemplative. Sometimes I'll slow down, and like when I speak at a funeral, that happens. And it's not because I don't know what I'm going to say or what I want to say, but it's sometimes I let myself go inside and feel. I trust what I feel. I refer to that part of me as the felt sense or my inner wisdom. But sometimes I let that kind of simmer, let things kind of move through me as I'm speaking, and at these kind of times. A dance teacher that I took a class from named David Hochoy, I've known him for actually a lot of years. At one class several months ago, he said, "Dance is what happens between the positions." And it made me think that life is what happens between the moments. Well, one thing I'd like to share before I get into the talk of today, that's actually part of the talk, I guess, is 1 year ago from today, my dad died. And what he died from was complications from pneumonia and COPD, which it felt fitting to me that happened a year ago today with all the things that are happening right now and the way that they're happening, the way that people are being sick right now. So I'm grateful for my dad and the love with my dad, and my mom's still here, and my stepmom, my brother and uncle, and so many friends that I love. I'm really grateful for my new dance partner, Lilla, her boyfriend, Michael, and we're not able to dance at the moment, but at first I was angry about that, and then I said, wait a minute, like one of the lines in the song we're dancing to, I need to practice. I need to practice what I teach. And so I started to practice, and I started to, like I said a few moments ago, quiet down and ask, what can I do? How can I help? What can I do to make a difference? And I started thinking about and noticing this incredible, heavy fear that's all over the world right now. Unlike anything I've experienced before. And what occurred to me was to look up the word pandemic, because that word, I just wanted to see what it said, and I looked it up in my phone Merriam-Webster dictionary. It said, occurring over a wide geographic area and affecting an extraordinarily high proportion of the population. So there's nothing emotional about that, there's nothing negative about that, that's just a bunch of information. But we've taken that word and we've added a word to it, and we've put this heavy, heavy fear onto it. So I think a good place to start is to take that word and add another word to it that would create a different feeling. And the word I want to use is the word peace. Peace encompasses so many things, and I've actually been writing a book about that for a couple of years, and it's virtually done, but I've been a little stuck at getting distracted. But now I have a wonderful reason to finish it. So I want to share some of the things that I'm going to be sharing in there, and so many good things that people are doing right now. They're giving to each other and sharing and helping, trying to make a difference for one another. And that's part of why I love that that's happening, and I want that to happen a lot more. And I also think that it would be helpful if it has a real focus. And that's part of why I came up with this word. And so I came up with a definition for peace pandemic. It is a global, peaceful resonance of humanity, of how we are all connected. There's a great opportunity in this situation, and I'm going to talk more about that later, but it's been my whole life motto that everything is connected, and now this virus is showing us. It's showing us in the fear, from an aspect of fear, but now we can start to take that fear and transform it into power, into peace, into love, into compassion. All those things are a part of peace. My main dance coach, Dan Rutherford, there's something he said to me early on when I was learning from him. He said, if you want to get a radically different result, you have to think radically differently. And this is a time when we need to do that. We want a radically different result. Albert Einstein, one of the great scientists of all times, one of his quotes was, "We cannot solve a problem with the same thinking we used when we created it. We created them." And actually, I think we actually may have created this virus. And I don't mean that in a conspiracy sort of way. I mean with our fear, with our sense of separateness that we have been growing throughout our existence. There's a man named Dr. Masaru Emoto. He did some experiments with water. It's on YouTube. If you can just look up him and you'll see these videos. The most poignant part for me is that he took water and he put it into jars and wrote words on them. And he wrote words like love or hate or you make me sick or this very loving things or very hateful, hurtful things. And the words that were loving and healing and had that kind of a message, the ice crystals under a microscope are really beautiful. And just had these incredibly beautiful shapes. The ones that had more hateful messages, the words, the crystals were contorted and misshapen, and they went with the words. It actually reshaped water. And what is the earth mostly made of? Water. All of life, including us, mostly made of water. The connective tissue of our body. We have elastin and collagen it's like this three-dimensional web that helps with our posture. And around all those cells, around every cell of the body, is the ground substance, is the matrix which it's also called like the fluid of our body. In a healthy state, it's gelatinous type of flow. But when it gets restricted, it crystallizes, it hardens. And so that's what's happening with fear. During the 1918 flu epidemic that killed millions of people around the world, there were a lot of the deaths were as a result of what's called cytokine storms. And it is where the immune system will kind of attack indiscriminately throughout the body, almost something like autoimmune type thing like AIDS. It'll just start attacking multiple areas and it starts harming itself, harming its own body, causing inflammation and all kinds of different things. That's what a lot of people died from in 1918. And I think that could be what people are dying from now, and so let me talk a little bit about someone else who has been influential with water and ice and all these different things. There's someone named Wim Hof. Wim Hof, his nickname is the Iceman. He's done these incredible things where he'll be in cold water for long periods of time, and he can keep his body temperature from changing. And scientists did some study on him where they injected his body with endotoxins, which are bacteria that would normally cause illness. These bacteria were dead, but because they are still the same bacteria that the body recognizes as harmful, the body creates a reaction to them and causes sickness temporarily. Well, he got this injected into him and he did not get sick. And the scientists were trying to understand if that was just him genetically or if this would be the case with other people. So they tested people who were also trained by him. They had the same reaction. They had another group who was not trained by him, and those people got sick. So all this is about, and his work, what he does, he focuses on three basic things: our thinking, our breath, and the tension in our body. And those are things I want to talk about today. I'm going to work with you on today. I'll just give you a couple of simple ways of working with that. Another thing about water I'd like to share is about martial arts and boxing. I've been around martial arts most of my life, many different types I've studied. The one I did the most and have been around the most is boxing. And there's a drill that I teach called the push drill. And what I've learned from that drill is that I have people try to push each other off balance. And what I've learned from that drill, and I've taught this in workshops on bullying, is how when someone is afraid, they tense up and their feet aren't grounded. And when they get hit or pushed, all the energy goes into their body and they take it all on. And that's what happens with words also, with different situations, not just a physical push, but words, emotions, they all have beliefs, they have a physicality to them. Another way that we deal with a push is with anger. Maybe you tense up. The first way is like a tin can getting kicked or flying across the room. The second way is like a wall. We get hard, it's more anger. So the angry way, the wall way, is more powerful than the fear way. The fear is the weakest way we can be, which is what's going on in the whole world right now. Anger is more powerful, but it's still limited. You get two walls crashing into each other, and you basically have damage happening on both sides. The bigger, stronger wall is going to win. Or the wall against the tin can, the wall is going to win, but they're both disconnected, they're both separate. The third way that happens, that's Bruce Lee referred to when he was talking about what water can do and what water does, is that water can conform, it can flow, and it can crash. It's very powerful. And so when we get hit or pushed, the most effective thing we can do is be like water. And we flow and we move with it. And we don't take it on. So we start to think in this way and start to move in this way and react in this way to situations and relax. We can relax in any situation. Doesn't matter what it is. We can always be at peace. It's what we practice every day, how we live, how we practice. One of the teachers I've learned a lot from over the years, his name's John Barnes. He's the main developer of he's world renowned for teaching and developing myofascial release. One of his great quotes is, "Without awareness, there is no choice." And so what I'm hoping that I'm going to help you with a little bit, but it's really about, it's not anything that I'm going to do or anyone else. It's about what you can do yourself in becoming more aware of what's happening inside of you and how you're living with yourself. And when you do that, you become very powerful. You become very free. You become very peaceful. Something I wrote a while back is, the more you open your mind, or let me reverse that. The more you open your body, the more you open your mind. The more you open your mind, the more you open your body. And the more you open your mind and body, the more closely you experience who you really are. Because who we really are has no opposite, the deepest part of us. The surface part of us deals with all these polarities of life. But the deepest part of us is unchanging. It's peace. Whenever we get off center, it's always pulling us back. And right now we're getting a really strong pull back. I play a lot of roles in life. I've referred to a few already, but I've done a lot of different things, and that's a lot of what's given me the perspective I have. A lot of people get good at one thing and they make an identity out of that thing. And I did that early on. When I was a young man, I got really involved in boxing, especially for a lot of years, and made it into an identity. I got pretty good. I won a bunch of state championships, and I fought the national champion, lost a split decision, and I was just so wrapped up in that for a long time, and there came a point where I decided to move on and do other things. The last few years I enjoyed it because I learned to recognize it wasn't who I was. But I learned a lot from it, and I used that, like I did that analogy I used a little bit ago. I might share more about that in a future video. I also have been a therapist now. I did boxing. I've been around boxing for probably 33 years. I've been a therapist now for 22 years. I started as an occupational therapy assistant, massage therapist, got certified in body-centered therapy. My main thing that I've done for most of this time is I've treated the connective tissue called fascia through various techniques. One that I already mentioned, but other ones too. And I then about 16 years ago, I started dancing, which was a lifelong fear. I started with salsa, then I got into ballroom. I got really into doing lifts, and now I compete professionally in ballroom cabaret, where you mix the lifts and dance. And so much of it is for me, is just about being free and expressing the power and the freedom inside of me. And there's so many ways of doing that, but doing all these different things has given me this perspective and understanding that everything is connected. We're all connected. We're connected to one another. We're connected to life. We're all one on the deepest level. And this is what's happening. As tragic as it is, one of the things I've learned is about forgiveness and about healing. Is about healing is feeling, and when many of the most challenging things that happen to us are also our greatest strength. They give us our greatest perspective. One of my clients who died about a year ago, she was in the concentration camp Auschwitz, and she was telling me about stories about it, and I listened to her for a while. Then I looked at her and I said, well, her posture, I'm going to say, add one more thing, her posture was really rounded over, which I suspected was from some of that tragedy, some of that trauma. So I asked her, what were the blessings from your experience at Auschwitz? And she looked at me and she said, what possibly could have been a blessing from that? I said, I don't know, how did you live your life? What did you do? And she said, well, I graduated high school in 2 years. I graduated college in 2 years. Then I got a PhD in genetics. And she became a college professor. And 16 times she was recognized as the top professor at her university. And once, top professor in her area of her field. And 1 year she was recognized as the top professor in the whole entire university. I said, well, that's pretty amazing. Do you think that would have happened had you not had that experience? And she said, oh, that's really interesting, she said. Maybe not. So I want to share with you a couple exercises that we can do. And there's basically a 3-part plan that I want to share with you about a very simple way you can start to implement some of the things I've been talking about. And I'll do future videos where we can go into more detail on other things. So there's 3 basic things that we are often unconscious, but we can also be conscious with them. So that meaning that these things sometimes just happen, and actually we can also change them. One of them is the way we breathe. One is the way we think, or the words we use. And the other is the amount of tension in our body. So I'm going to do a practice here that will affect all 3 of those. One of the people I've studied, I love his teaching, is Thich Nhat Hanh. Sometimes it's called Thai, meaning teacher. He's basically a Buddhist monk, but his whole life was about practicing peace and teaching peace. He got together Israelis and Palestinians and had them do deep listening together for a period of weeks, and over that time, love developed between these people, understanding developed. And that's what we need in the world right now. We need love, we need understanding, we need peace, we need compassion. So one of the things Ty talked about in one of his videos was when we breathe, one of the most basic and important practices we can do is just to be aware that we're breathing in and aware that we're breathing out, because so often we're not aware of the fact that we are breathing or how we're breathing. When we're under fear, when we're experiencing fear, we often go, we tense, we physically tense, we breathe in, we hyperventilate, hold our breath, and we think of thoughts with that. Oh my God, I'm going to die, or whatever words you might say. So we need to start changing those practices. We need to start changing the words, the breathing, the tension. So let's do a little practice right now. I'm going to say a word, and you don't have to do anything I suggest, but I don't think that any of this will hurt you. And if you don't want to do this, then it's fine. And also, if anything I do is something your doctor would tell you not to do, then don't do it. Don't ever force anything. Don't ever hurt yourself. Let's be gentle with yourself. Let's be compassionate with yourself. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the word peace. And we're going to breathe in with the word peace and breathe out with the word peace. And on the 10th one, we're going to hold our breath. And we're going to tense our physical body where we feel the need for peace in our body, where we have tension and unconscious tension. And we're going to do that with a few other words, and then we're going to go back to peace. We're going to start and end with peace, but they're all really about peace. Just get comfortable. Sit up, lay down. I probably wouldn't stand right now because you could get dizzy and lose your balance and fall. So for this practice, I would either be sitting or laying down. So as I'm breathing in peace. I'm breathing out peace. Let it be slow and gentle, even. Breathing in peace. Breathing out peace. Let your inhale flow into your exhale and vice versa. Breathing in peace. Breathing out peace. Breathing in peace. Breathing out peace. Let the transition be so smooth you can't tell where one begins and the other ends. Breathing in peace. Breathing out peace. Breathing in peace. Breathing out peace. Breathing in peace. Breathing out peace. Just keep bringing your awareness back. If your thoughts are taking you over other places, keep coming back to the peace, coming back to the breath, come back to relaxing. Breathing in peace. Breathing out peace. This last one, we're going to breathe it in, we're going to hold it, we're going to tense anywhere that we need peace in our physical body. Breathing in peace. As deep as you can, breathe it in, hold it. Tense wherever you feel tension in your body, excess tension, get into that tension, match the tension, hold it tight, squeeze. It could be anywhere, your feet, your calves, your knees, your shins, your thighs, your butt, your belly, your back, your shoulders, your neck, your jaw, your gut, your chest, your hands, your arms, anywhere your whole body, your face, your forehead. Just hold it. Don't force it. You can release anytime you want. Just hold that air, hold the tension. Be inside it. Feeling is where the healing happens. When you're ready, just let it go. Let your body relax. Let your breath go. Let everything soften. Let everything get back to water, back to fluid. Just taking a couple of normal breaths. Breathing in compassion. Breathing out compassion. Breathing in compassion. Breathing out compassion. Breathing in compassion. Breathing out compassion. Receiving compassion. Giving compassion. Receiving compassion. Giving compassion. Breathing in compassion. Breathing out compassion. Breathing in compassion. Breathing out compassion. This last one, breathe in as much as you can. Hold it and just squeeze everywhere tight that you need compassion right now. That you need understanding and compassion. Hold it tight. Hold it everywhere tight. Don't force it. Don't hurt yourself. Just be gentle. Whenever you're ready, just let it go. Let it all soften. Let it all let go. Let it all release. We're going to breathe in love. Breathe out love. Breathing in love. Breathing out love. Breathing in love. Breathing out love. Breathing in love. Breathing out love. Be soft and easy. Breathing in love. Breathing out love. 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 This last time we're going to hold love. We're going to take a deep breath. Hold the love any way you need to love right now. Just hold it tight. Be inside of it. Feel it. Feel it deeply. Hold it there as long as you need to. As long as it feels good to you. Whenever you're ready, just let it go. And breathe in healing. Breathe out healing. 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 Receive healing. Give healing. Receive healing. Give healing. Receive healing. Give healing. Receive healing. Give healing. We're going to breathe it in deep as we can this time and hold that healing inside of us. Squeeze and hold the air, hold the air, hold the healing. As long as you need it, wherever you need it, tense it up. Be inside there. Feel it. Feel as long and deep as you need to. We're all doing this together. We're flipping things around. Whenever you're ready, just let that go. Let the healing go. Let your body soften. Let you get a little more free. So we can all do this together. The entire world can share this, do this, grow the peace, grow the love, grow the healing. Compassion, the power. Let's do our power now. Breathing in power. Breathing out power. And power, we're going to push it out a little bit more. Shh. Breathing in power. It's like we're throwing a punch. We turn the fear into power. Breathing out power. Shh. Breathing in power. Breathing out power. Breathing in power. Breathing out the power. Breathing in the power and with compassion. Breathing out the power with compassion. Breathing in the power. Breathing out the power. Grounding into the ground. Feeling at your feet. Breathing in the power. Breathing out the power. power. Breathing out the power. And hold that power inside your body. Feel the power tensing up everything, everywhere you need power right now. Feel it in the ground, everywhere you need it. And whenever you're ready, just let that power go. Just let it go. One more time, we're going to go back into the peace, which is every one of these things is about peace. We're going back and we're going to start and we're going to finish with the peace. Breathing in the peace. Breathing out the peace. Receiving peace. Giving 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 peace. Letting it be easy. Now let it get easy. Giving it. Let it get easier and easier to give and receive peace. Receiving peace. Giving peace. One more time, we're going to hold it deep in and take it as much as we can. And just tense it everywhere you need to, everywhere it needs more peace. Just hold it there, deep inside, feeling it all the way through your body, every bit of your being, as deep as you can feel it. Whenever you're ready, just let it go. Just let it relax. We can all be relaxed. We can all do this. So I want to share one last bit with you, just a couple more thoughts. I'm going to just read directly because I want to make sure that I say it all. I believe we can strengthen our immune systems and weaken the virus and develop a worldwide peace, healing, and love never experienced in the history of human beings. I suggest that you practice what we just did. You can do it longer, you can use different words that feel good to you. And as you practice, we start with ourselves. We have to, kind of like on an airplane, to tell you to put your own oxygen piece on first. We have to practice ourselves and develop a feeling inside of us of peace, and then that starts to spread and we can share it. As we spread it, we start to practice it and we start to share it. Let's remember what Thomas Fuller said. The day is darkest before the dawn. Yes, it might be very dark right now, but we're getting closer to the dawn. That's what it means. Let yourself feel whatever you feel. Sadness, fear, whatever it is, but let it flow through like waves in the ocean. But also be looking for the blessings that are countless. Countless. The biggest one being this one right here, that we are all connected, and this is giving us such a profound lesson in that right now. That we can do it in peace, we can do it in love, and all these wonderful parts of who we really are deeply. Let's be powerful in our compassion, our love, our generosity for one another. Let's give our attention to what unites us and gives us true power, not what divides us and makes us weak. Let's make it for the greatest purpose in human existence. While we calmly, wisely, and in a relaxed way deal with what's before us, let's use these polarities to help us understand how we can live from the middle, the part of us that has no opposite. In recognizing how everything and every single one of us is connected. I love you. Well, I thought I did that all in one take, but then I realized there were a couple more important things I wanted to share. When I was talking about my dad in the beginning, I thought about it at the time, but I didn't say it. And that is that I realized that a lot of people have died already, and that many more may die. And you may be watching this video right now and feeling sick. But I want you to know, however you're feeling, whatever's going on with you, that all this that we're going through, it won't be in vain if we take this opportunity right now. Let's practice together. Let's practice peace together. Growing a peace pandemic. Let's watch and read less news, unless the news start to change to what grows peace. I know there are important things we need to get from the news at this time. But for this to work, we must spend more time building peace than we are building fear. Thank you to all the reporters who are sharing valuable information. And I know many are sharing positive news. But in 5 minutes, you can pretty much get the whole day's news. If you have the ability to watch movies at home, stop watching doom and gloom movies and start watching things that lift your spirit and inspire you. I also encourage you to take this precious time that we've all been given and discover things you've put off. Talents you've wanted to explore, get in shape, play an instrument again, write, compose music, etc. And most importantly, ask your felt sense, what can you do to help? How can you be the most amazing person you could ever possibly be? Start to expand your ideas of what your upper limits have been. And explore things that you've never had before, or maybe were too afraid to do. This is an opportunity to do those things. The more we open our mind to possibilities, the more possibilities there are. Please share this video. As you share your gifts online, include something about the peace pandemic that's sweeping across the world like nothing we've ever seen. I know we can do this together.